Thursday's edition, Culotta and the Prince, the vlog here, 1045 ESPN.com is where you can catch on-demand content as well as blogs from all the shows, including the vlog from Culotta and the Prince. Solid show today as Andy Cannizzaro stopped by in hour number one. It'll be a showdown tonight, starting with game one with LSU and A&M. First time this young Alec Box Stadium, Skip Bertman Field, has hosted a 1 versus 2 matchup. Lefty Jared Poche will get the ball for the Tigers.
Looking forward to it tonight. A&M's first trip to Alec Box since they've joined the conference. I think it'll be an electric crowd over there. I think it's going to be a big atmosphere. And in talking with the players yesterday, Poche in particular, he talks about how, this is a very big series, but the best thing about the way that the schedule shapes up is that this is a big one, and if you win this one, it makes the next one bigger. I like the way that they have a little bit of perspective on that, but they also, at the same point in time, don't try to downplay just how important this series is with Texas A&M. The other thing is, being around town, I don't remember this kind of excitement about playing A&M and other sports before the John Chavis thing went down.
Yeah.
I think that since then this has become an actual rivalry. So I think it's going to be an interesting, kind of vibe out there and see how this plays out. Because while certainly people thought that this was a budding rivalry, I think it now has taken on a different life.
Well, I think back to our first stop at SEC Media Days when Texas A&M and Missouri was a part of it. Our friends Gabe Bach and those guys down at Texags were kind of fishing for a rivalry. I mean, they wanted something
Sure.
at the end of the year. They wanted this LSU and A&M game to come back to where it was in the early 90s when LSU and A&M would play the first game of the season through the 80s. But now with this Chavis thing, it's not only become a rivalry in the fall, it's become a rivalry all three sports.
Yeah, my apologies.
Truck.
My apologies. That guy in Check B. But there is no question this rivalry has taken on a different life of its own, and I think that when you look at how important this weekend is for LSU baseball, tied with Texas A&M in the SEC standings, the opportunity to set yourself up for a national seed, irrelevant from everything else that's involved in this, these games on the field mean an awful lot.
Johnny Jones broke the news yesterday to you guys, and after further review, followed up with us this morning on your morning drive about the Killer Bees. They're all now in. Brandon Sampson inked earlier this week to a letter of intent. Antonio Blakeney's paperwork came across yesterday afternoon. They've had Benny Simmons in-house for over 3 months now. Taking off towards Australia in the offseason to see if they can't build this team chemistry before they report in October.
Yeah, JJ said that to replace Eminem, he's got the Killer Bees coming in.
Words.
I think we need every time Johnny Jones comes on, we need to do ABC by the Jackson 5.
Catch that, Jimmy?
It's always about the alphabet when it with regards to the LSU basketball team. But I got to tell you, I'm excited about this. We had talked about it last week. I know people were starting to worry a little bit about the Blakeney situation. He was in New York. His mother was in South Florida. They got together, and then they had a deal where they wanted to be together to do everything. They got that done. LSU received it, processed it. Everything's good to go. And on the 23rd of April to have that recruiting class finally come together. And there's still a potential of more movement there. I know Malik Newman's going to make his announcement tomorrow. We don't think that Malik Newman's coming to LSU. It looks like Mississippi State and Kentucky. But there are still a number of other guys that LSU could get in on. Ray Consongo is the guy, the big that they're still looking at. And I know David Patrick has been, internationally looking for some guys as well. So, this is a really good, strong class. And I think one of the most underrated aspects of what LSU is going to have as newcomers in the 2015-2016 season is a guy you asked Coach Jones about, Craig Victor.
Check out the podcast online, 1045ESPN.com, for our conversation with Andy Cannizzaro, Coach Johnny Jones, and Marcus Spears of the SEC Network. Stop by to talk SEC football and LSU coming out of spring. Pelicans wins tonight?
Let's see. Sure, why not?
Well, you've heard it say this series is going to go 5. You'd expect that this would be the game that they get if it goes 5.
This has to be the game that they get because if they don't get this one, then
it's over.
That's it. Look, I think that tonight's the best opportunity. Playing at home, I think the crowd will be lively. But they they've shown glimpses. They need to put it together for all 48.
Red Thursday. I'm a believer. 1045ESPN.com. Monday through Friday, 7 to 9 a.m. Culotta and the Prince.